Overemployed. It was interesting to come across this term not too long ago. It's used to mean when you have more than one full-time job at the same time. I hadn't noticed there was a term for what I had been doing for a while now. I hadn't thought that someone out there had basically dedicated their entire website to hosting like-minded people who also had multiple jobs at the same time. They're based in the US, and a lot more people have been doing that there, from what I can tell of the website, but I haven't really heard of people doing that in the UK. Often thought of as illegal, newsflash, it's not. I found it quite rare to come across another person who's working 2 or 3 full-time jobs at the same time. If one good thing came out of this lockdown / work from home drive, it's shown me that it's completely feasible to do multiple full-time jobs for full-time salaries. It's also highlighted to me how much time really needs to be invested in one job to enable you to do your role at its fullest, and it's not 9 to 5. I've had 3 full-time jobs at the same time, being paid full-time salaries. This, of course, you will declare to the HMRC, but you need not declare this to your employers. I've very easily timed my meetings so they don't clash, blocked out times for when you have to knuckle down to focus on the various jobs. So what did this allow me to do? Figure out what I wanted to do. I had been in academic research for the best part of 5 years and was finally leaving the organisation. More on that on another post. And so I needed to find an alternative. The alternative always highlighted for the traditional scientist academic is the medical writing route. So I applied and got offered the job, but I didn't want to hand in my notice at my previous job because I would then miss out on my redundancy money. I had the best part of a year left on my contract, and also be left with no safety net if I decided that I didn't like medical writing. The benefit of this kind of job is that it can be very easily done from your living room and laptop. Another benefit is that when you join as an associate medical writer, you're doing all the things that nobody else in the company wants to do. Menial, painstaking, repetitive, bear with me. But then this meant I had time to check my emails from my first job, join meetings ad hoc, and even go into the office to do work that you had to pick up on while you're on your break at your other job. I didn't like medical writing. 3 months in, I found it was boring and soul-destroying. But I was getting 2 times salaries, and I kind of liked that bit. So I kept them both and looked for an alternative. The other alternative was working at a startup company run by scientists turned entrepreneurs. Sounded interesting. And I would be joining as a project manager. They enjoyed the interview and offered me the role on the spot. I was quite happy to take this up. This is where it started to get tricky. The people at the company weren't necessarily the best entrepreneurs. They started asking me to work very long hours and doing things way below my pay grade. I had noted massive red flags in the first 24 hours of my joining, another separate blog post. I lasted 3 days before I decided I couldn't work there anymore. 1 resignation later, I still had 2 full-time jobs and 2 full-time salaries. None of the employers were any the wiser, and I was financially better off for it. From this experience, I learned that I can juggle 2 jobs, but not 3. 3 is a little too much, for the kinds of roles I want to do anyway. I'm not happy being in the background. I want to have a lead on things, so it meant the search was still on. I interviewed a few places and applied to over 100 vacancies whilst working 2 jobs. Then I got offered a job at a very well-known organisation. I grabbed it with both hands. And after finally realising I quite liked my latest job, I was quite happy to let the medical writer position go, and worked out the rest of my contract from the job that was coming to a close. I didn't have to tell anyone anything, bar the HMRC. Salaries that I was getting, I earned a year's salary in a matter of months and saved up a fair bit while looking for the job I truly wanted. By not telling my previous employers I had a new job, I got my full redundancy payout that I accrued over the last 5 years too, which made a handsome saving to put towards other lucrative investments. I worked hard and worked well enough to enable me to give a good impression of myself and my employers and make some extra money on the side. Is overemployment for everyone? No, not by any means. I did it because I had 0 commitments outside of myself. COVID meant I wasn't seeing anyone anyway, so it's not as if my social life suffered. But if you have a family or kids, you might find it tricky. Not that you shouldn't give it or couldn't give it a go and try and see for yourself though. I personally wouldn't juggle 2 or 3 jobs for longer than 6 months at a shot. It's enough to see out your probationary 6 months, 6 months at most, unless your employer is a psychopath, and notice period, so your CV won't look terrible to future employers. If you want to include those jobs on your CV, that is. I haven't for the most part, especially since they're not really part of my career trajectory. It gives you a tidy sum to put away, gives you that extra push to get closer to the early retirement holiday. The choice is ultimately yours. Love and laissez-faire.